What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Brick Lounge Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Eric. Joining me are my co-hosts, John and Kip. What is up, gentlemen? How are we doing tonight?
Hey.
What's up? Oh, it's been a
Super
great
excited.
week.
Yeah, lots going on, Eric. I'm excited about today's episode. I'm excited about Lego, and we've all been hanging out a bit, so I'm excited to see you guys again.
Yeah, exactly. We are coming hot off the heels of Atlanta BrickCon 2025, and during Atlanta BrickCon, we had the pleasure of meeting our special guest of this episode, very own Tim from Tim's Brick Adventures and Lego Master Season 4, if I remember correctly. Season 4. Tim, how you doing?
Sir.
I am doing fantastic, and it was so awesome to get to know you guys as well and see that wonderful build. All the builds you guys brought were just out of this world. So,
as well as yours, that Wild West scene is just amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so few do the Wild West, as we've already spoke about. But so what we usually do during this time, Tim, is we talk a little bit about what's going on in our Lego lives. And so I'll go around. We'll start with you. What's been going on in your Lego life recently, Tim?
Woo. So I got home from Atlanta BrickCon, and I had 4 days, and I had to get ready to go to another convention that I just literally walked in the door from driving back from. It was in Oklahoma City.
Wow.
I don't know if I dare mention the name, but
there's no embargoes here. You can mention anybody. Yeah.
Well, I was doing a BrickFest live in Oklahoma City, and it was a great show. The people of Oklahoma showed out big time. I got to meet the owners of the Built Bricks and Minifig store. They actually brought some people out to display. There was a young man that had his entire collection of Ninjago sets. And I was like, that excited me because I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to start building because I have them all from the very beginning. And
even the big sets like the Ninjago City and the Ninjago Dock.
Every one and I've tried to get all the different figures, versions, and all that, but yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Now
you've been running, so we saw you. You got to take a breath, probably to come home and take a shower, and then you hit the road again, right? And now
almost. I had to make up buffalo kits. I sold a lot of them this weekend, so
awesome.
Nice.
That seems to be in between shows. All I get done is making more buffalo kits to go sell. So.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about those. I was with you last time, and I kept looking at them, and the whole time, I don't know why. Even when I saw you at the very end, when you literally were there to pick up the buffalo kits, it didn't register in my mind to be like, "Hey, hold on, I want a couple of them." So then I got home, I was like, "I don't know what I was thinking," but
I never even thought about that myself, to be honest with you.
They're so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so anyway, it's like we get distracted at these events, you know.
Yes.
Well, that sounds fun.
Awesome. Well, John, what's been going on in your world recently, man?
Well, I'm happy to say, like everyone else, I'm still happily recovering from Atlanta BrickCon. Prior to that, it was preparation for literally weeks. We did a very big collab with the group. We built a tornado. We did a trailer park. We had a big city expansion, incorporated more people. And so just everything that was involved with that, putting in BrickLink orders, building roads, building, and a lot of late nights. And then, Kip and I don't want to steal on his thunder, but like we got to spend a bunch of time together, kind of like, stuffing our car, our trailer, commuting down to Atlanta, unloading, setting up, and then squeezing it all back into the trailer and bringing it home. So all that was a lot that we did, but it was worth it. And, I'm excited for what the Brick Lounge did, which was for the first time we did a little bit of self-promotion. And, I think that's going to go well for us. So I'm excited. I'm excited about what we just came from and what's going on for us going forward. Lots to talk about, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, and we made a nice new friend in Tim here as well while we were there.
Absolutely.
So, Kip, what about you, man?
Well, it's been a busy week for me as well. Of course, getting back from Atlanta and trying to recover a little bit, but hit the ground running, so to speak. So, we had a meeting. John, you forgot to even mention this one, but we had a meeting the other day to get ready for our next event that SC Bricks puts on. So we got Columbia coming up in March. So we're getting ready for that. We had a nice long meeting to discuss all the needs and requirements to get everything in place. So we are on the way with that. So that's been a lot of preparation this week. I've also been with what I've brought back from John's house so far, because it's going to take me a couple more trips to get all of the city back from Greenville back to Columbia. But
At least 2 trips.
at least 2 more trips. But with what I've had back so far, I've been distributing my minifigures and making sure that things are where they're supposed to be and all that good stuff. So making sure nothing got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah,
but it's
unpacking
been a busy
the convention.
week.
Yeah, not to mention, Kip, I know you have been feeling under the weather, so it's nice to see you feeling a little bit better, and that stinks, man. Sometimes you get exhausted at these events. I mean, I don't know that people always realize how you wear yourself down.
Several of us came back with a little bit of the crud, so.
Yeah, that convention crud is real.
You feeling better, buddy. Yeah.
But we worked through it.
Yes, we did. All right, so enough about us.
Let's get through this.
Right, here in Kit, real quick. John, I gotta go about my Lego life.
Oh, Eric, hold on a minute. I totally forgot about you, Eric.
It's not all about Tim here, okay?
Eric, what is up with you? How have you been since we hung out together and you did so much at the convention?
Thank you
totally
for
forgot
asking,
about
John.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Of course, being at Atlanta BrickCon with you guys is a big thing. By far the biggest show I've ever attended, and it is one of the larger ones in the United States. So that was an awesome experience. Do not have the shared experience of you guys when it comes to the struggle of unpacking, because with me building so small, it is literally and done, which I absolutely love. But I have been continuing since I got back with my reorganization. I've got a whole new part system I'm working on right now, and currently working on sorting and putting bins together and just making sure everything has its home. So, Tim, one of those things you don't know about me is I am the resident minimalist of SC Bricks, which is in constant conflict with my Lego hobby, because those two things do not go hand in hand.
But we benefit from it. Hey, I mean,
that's true.
When you offload stuff, it's nice to be offered,
Eric,
That's very true.
You have to mention what you just built because of what you found at a new toy store in Columbia.
Yes. I just built one of my top sets of 2024, the Ninjago Cole's Elemental Earth Mech, or whatever, the huge one. I found at a little mom and pop toy shop here in Columbia that I'd never heard of for 25% off retail. Nice. And I went, okay. I'll buy it on a whim, and that's what I built last night and this morning. So there is a lot of.
Is it there to show off, or is it like
it is? Well, I got to go grab it down off the top of the shelf. But
all right, well, you already have it on display.
It's already up on display. Yeah,
nice.
But I'll be honest with you, man. That the techniques in that build are way more involved than even I originally thought. I mean, it's very sturdy, but it feels a whole lot more like an actual like a mock. Than an actual Lego set, but in a good way. So I really I learned a lot from building that thing. So looking forward to trying to implement some of it. But that's me. That's my Lego life.
Well, listen, I want to give you credit for the time that you spent in the last week working on that mech. I do not have a mech story to share with you, but I have built that tiger, and I think we've talked about it, that Bengal tiger. And that 3-in-1, and I was so impressed with the joint, the friction on the joints, and how you could manipulate the character. So I'm excited to see what you do with that mech, like how you set it up and how you use it. It's cool.
Really neat. It's really neat. All right, well now, John, we can move on to Tim.
I have so many questions, and listen, I'm not going to hog the question zone, but if you don't mind, I'm going to kick it off.
John will let you nerd out first.
Yeah, let me nerd out first. So, first of all, let me just say, Tim, when I first watched the season 4 that you were in, my wife and I, my waffle, we both were rooting for you. We liked you guys from the very beginning. It was like these two blue collar dudes that truly probably like are in environments where they don't get a lot of like Lego opportunity, and just injected into this world of Lego, and now you exist in it, like as an artist and just a craftsman and all the things that you are. But like, it was so cool to see you come out and do everything that you did. And we were sad when you were eliminated, but you know, being eliminated just means, you know, you go on to the next phase of your Lego chapter, and I'm excited to hear about that. But just want to say it was fun seeing you on the show. So that makes today even more special because you're one of the dudes that, you know, like we kind of fanned out about a little bit. So my wife was like, "Oh, you're going to talk to Tim."
Well, first of all, I appreciate that very, very much because um, I am learning as I do these appearances and talk to, I mean, hundreds of people that so many had not even seen Lego Masters or don't even know what Lego Masters is. And if they have, they've maybe got into season 1 a little bit or even 2. And so 3 and 4, you know, no way they've even seen that. So when I meet people that have actually seen me and are excited, or you know, or just have seen me, it means a lot. And I mean, it's really a big deal to me because, like I said, it's few and far between.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I imagine though, like in the real community, the Lego community that you're running in now, like you're very well recognized. You know what I mean? And you know, you have a big personality, and that's fun too. You know, the big smile. You remind me of Kip a lot too, because both of you have great laughs, and it's, you know,
John,
it's
it's
fun.
funny you say that because remember, it was right after the first episode that Tim was on. I was like, John,
We
that's
should do
kind of
this.
like me and you. We
I
need to
know.
do that.
It's so true. Yeah, you actually set Kip and I down a path of like, should we go for Lego Masters? Like we because of you
Yeah.
guys. So anyway, so all right. I'm, you know, I don't have a list of questions, but here goes my brain. So I just kind of want to know something like general about you, right? So like,
Okay.
tell me something that, you know, maybe people don't know, but describe yourself a little bit.
So, yeah, let's see. Gosh, that's a big one. I'm in my late 50s.
Yeah, it's like a
So,
Lego dating app, but not.
yeah,
Your Lego
I love
profile.
I love long walks, and
Yeah,
you know, I love pick a brick, and
I secretly like stepping on Lego.
yeah. Um, no, I just the more I get doing what I'm doing and just having so much fun, it's just crazy how I think back that this all started, or my Lego journey really only started with a Christmas gift from my mother-in-law in 2010. And I don't know, I started um, discovering the world of the custom figures and stuff. And so I started making all the little Wild West figures, see how many historic figures I could make and all my favorite movie and Western people and stuff. And then sooner, you know, later, just not long after that, discovered that there were conventions and then clubs, and jumped right into all that, and then jumped into the displaying and all that kind of thing. And then to where we are today. I mean, it just like this weekend, I have figured, and I guess the biggest thing of it and the most joy I'm getting out of all of it is this right here. I have met so many awesome people all over the United States now, and I'm getting to know all the different clubs, and you know, everybody is just awesome. I mean, I have not had anybody that's been, you know, derogatory in any way towards me, or you know, or anything like that. And I genuinely love everybody I've met and all the shows I go to and stuff. And I hope that, you know, everybody knows that, or can see that and feel like, hey, I can go talk to him, and you know, and we'll have a good time and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
So
Lego is fun, and so putting yourself in that environment the way that you have, you know, the community is. I think maybe I don't know if I would say, you know, speak for you, but I think you might have been like surprised at how and like how much an AFOL community embraces people just in general. I mean, there really seems to be in my experience that, you know, if somebody's doing well, you know, there's not this like super competitive vein in the AFOL world. It's more like, hey, you know, like, nice to meet you. What are you building? How are you doing? Tell me more, right? Like,
How
it
can
seems
I
like that
learn
might,
from you?
yeah, how can I learn from you?
well, and
Yeah.
that's what you know, I say all the time. The Lego community is just very unique and just absolutely wonderful. I mean, all the other outside stuff in the world just kind of stays outside. And when we all get together for these conventions, it's just like a big family reunion, and only a family that kind of likes each other.
Yeah.
No, no
Until
awkward
it's time to
Thanksgiving
pack up.
dinners.
Yeah,
Everyone's
until it's time to
exhausted.
pack up and everybody's tired and ready
Yeah,
to
then
go.
it's like, yeah,
Get out of my way.
well, I'm always one of the last ones, so I don't worry
Yeah.
about it too much.
Actually, it's funny you say that, Tim, because at Atlanta BrickCon, me and John have a picture of ourselves being the very last people walking out of that
Yeah.
convention center.
We were like,
So,
we
yeah.
closed it down.
Yeah,
Closed it down.
well, you guys tend to close down most conventions that we go to together.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
So all right, Tim. So you got back into Lego 2000. Do you remember what 2010? Do you remember what set that was?
I was about to ask that same
Actually,
question. Yeah, what's
I
that
got
Christmas
it right here,
set?
and I can show
All
you.
right, bring it.
I can never remember. I just know it's called a brownstone,
Brownstone.
and I need
Everybody,
to
quick Google that.
well, and I'm going to write it all down and memorize it. So it's this one right here.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
And I love this thing. I mean, I built it literally right away in 2010, and it's never. Now it looks like it's been through a dust storm since 2010. So
That's
such
one
a
of the
great set.
Wow.
Is that one of the Creator 3-in-1s?
It is,
Yeah.
Kip, and I think it
Yeah.
might have been one of your favorites.
One of
that
mine.
You picked.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of my top Creator 3-in-1 sets, Tim.
Yeah.
it's mine too. Mine, hands
Yeah.
down, mine too. And
Tim, you know what's cool about that? It was right in that modular. It was like right in the time frame when they started building, when Lego started coming out modulars.
Yep.
And it was the first Creator set that was modular size, and it was so cool. And that set's worth a lot, by the way. I think it's like $400 or $500 now, if I remember.
Are you
Didn't we look at
kidding me?
that?
Wow.
Yeah.
No, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It is.
That's
Well,
wild. That
maybe
of all the
Dust it
sets.
off a little more, Tim.
Make sure you have the minifigs and the instructions in the box. But yeah, it is.
What's
They're
wild too
around here
is
somewhere. That's the instructions. I know them. I don't know minifigs wise,
Yeah.
but
of all
that's
of the
the
sets,
first
Tim,
one.
that you could choose. We just 2-3 episodes ago did an episode on the history of Creator and Creator 3-in-1. So we have very recently talked about this.
Yeah. Well, that's a great set. So that set has an even more meaning to me now.
That's
I have
incredible.
It as well.
Yeah.
And so,
And
all
I
right, so
would
that
be-
got you back in the game. So another question. All right, now that you've shown us that, and you gave me, and then I'll hand it over to you guys because I'm just gonna keep going otherwise. So know a little bit more about you. You got back into Lego 2010. So when we met, we talked about the fact that you're an artist and that Lego is your medium, and I got to see some of your artwork, and so that has not left my brain. I've been thinking about that a lot, and I think that you have a real niche if you were to pursue that. But I'm curious. Talk to us a little bit about any artwork that you've done with Lego. Like, what's your kind of aim with that?
Well, so that portrait, the landscape thing that you're referring to, that's kind of my first actual attempt at art. Although the mountains in my Western build, the colors and stuff like that, that's where I even came up with a little thing, painting with brick. And I actually did a little lecture at the museum that we had to display, and where I displayed that landscape painting. And
painting with brick, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like I said, I got to work up the lecture and all that a little bit more, because I could easily, but do something like that at one of these Lego conventions and stuff. But the idea is it just, you can use all the different colors to create the lighting effects, the shadows and the lights, and just create more interest and all that stuff. And so I really want to, as I build more, I don't really get to build a lot. In fact, I haven't really built anything of any substance since the show, and that's been over a year and a half ago now that we filmed all that. So I've got to get some stuff done this year because I'm doing a lot of conventions, and I got to have some new material. So the Wild West is kind of running its course, and now it's going to start doing some museum tours if I can get it to work in.
Awesome.
And so that's kind of, I really hadn't thought about it until the whole fine art museum thing, and as far as being my new medium and the art and all that kind of thing. Because I don't know. I've always been able to draw. My first commissioned portrait was sitting in art class in high school. One of the girls wanted me to draw a portrait of her for her boyfriend. She paid me $20. So I sat there and did that. And then that just kind of, for the last 40, 40 years, I guess, I've just been in pets. I got into pets. I had a business for a lot of years where I was doing a whole lot of commissioned pet portraits and people and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And then I've never really just done, artwork to do artwork. It was always commissioned stuff. And so I do have a line of bodybuilding wear that I created a design for, and I have a lot of art stores where I sell prints of my artwork from the pets and stuff. And I got to get into Chinese brush painting for a while, so I'm working on a project with that I'm going to reveal soon here, that I hope will add to my income stream a little bit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I mean, it's just all about the creativity and stuff. And even with my carpentry and woodworking and stuff, I try to incorporate, just have more of an artistic eye and all that kind of thing. So
the frame that you did around that Lego portrait, that
was
amazing.
Take a whole lot of credit. That was a garage sale purchase.
Really?
I was able to cut down the size and paint black.
You still made it work.
But
I did do something like that. I've done some really good finished carpentry work. The other Tim actually had a commission job for an oil company to build replicas of their semi with their fracking machines. And I mean, they're good sized, and they wanted to have a couple of them with really fancy wooden boxes to take to the trade shows and stuff. And so the guys asked me if I could come up with something for them, and they turned out. I even got out. I hadn't done wood burning in forever, and so I actually even wood burned the logo in and all that kind of stuff. So, I get a chance with everything I do. I try to put a touch of using creativity and just kind of make
a little part of yourself.
Touch of Tim.
Yeah.
It's the more this is the fact, speaking with you at the convention and learning more about you and getting to know you a little bit, you really are an artist all the way around, man.
Yeah.
Whether it goes from Lego to carpentry to, I mean, that's phenomenal, and the painting with bricks, I immediately jumped to Tim is the Bob Ross of Lego.
Oh, that's great. Oh,
I'm losing my hair. I don't have much hair.
All right. You don't need hair, man. Who needs hair? Come on.
No mistakes. Just happy little 1x2s. No mistakes. Just happy little 1x2s.
Happy little 1x2 studs.
Now in high school, I did perm my hair, so that was all the rage in the 80s.
That's awesome.
Nice. Very nice.
Hilarious.
That's the only reason I have any kind of body now. My hair was just straight.
We have a question from producer Cole.
I definitely can relate to your artist kind of look at your Lego builds. As I can tell, you have a lot of training, maybe in art principles. You were talking kind of, like form, but also kind of like color theory and stuff like that. And I go ahead.
My college degree is actually one of my college degrees is actually in graphic design and all that good stuff. So
very cool.
Similarly, yeah, and I can definitely tell just looking at your Wild West stuff. I mean, just the color use was just insane. But yeah, I just wanted to add that in there.
I appreciate that a whole lot. I really do.
All the dark purples and
that was purely an accident too. The purple in there is just, I had a bag of 1x2 lavenders sitting there when I was building the mountains, and I had the dark tan layer, and I was getting ready to do the dark orange like everybody else was doing in the time. And I was like, I wonder what this would look like. So I just took a chance and I layered it in there, and then I'm like, put it on there, and I, you know what, I kind of like this. So, and it did. It just, everybody's just really taken to it, and so it made me feel good.
And for those of you listening, I'm sure that our awesome producer Cole is going to be inserting pictures right now of the video interview that we did with him, so everyone else can see the layering that he did. You just imagine like a canyon wall, and just the different layers and how he achieved that. And so, Yeah, really nice. All right, my last question. This and then on to the other fellows. So, this is a Lego Masters question. So when you're on the show, what was that moment? Where at what point did you look at Tim and be like, "Holy shit, we are here doing this"? Like, so what was the thing that just blew you away, and then you kind of settled into it? Was there like a moment that it just hit you?
Well, so it's kind of weird because with Tim and I, we were the alternate team on season 3. And so we actually went for season, we were there for the week with everybody from season 3. And we thought right up until the day they told us we were the alternate team and not going to be on the show that we were going to be there. So we kind of had that moment that time, but
some backstory here. Yeah.
But I would honestly say, I think I'm trying because almost those same words were spoken. And I want to say, trying to remember exactly when, because with that for season 4, they told us we were definitely on. Because I said we are definitely on this time, and they said, "Yes, Tim, we are definitely."
Let's just be clear, real quick. We're on the show, right?
Probably when we got to the hotel, for season 4 and got in there, I think we kind of were like, "Yes, this time,
this is real."
We got it.
What an exciting moment for you.
Right.
Oh, it was. I mean, we really, for me, it was the time of my life. I mean, it was the best job I ever. Well, you know what? I've changed that up. It was at the time the best time. I feel like right now with what I'm getting to do and just being able to travel and do these appearances and meeting everybody and just expanding my family has just totally been. And I don't know, something this weekend, I just had a ball this weekend and just realized how lucky I am to just be able to do this and all the people I met. I mean, I've been enjoying it all along, but I don't know. It was this weekend, there was a lot of people and it was a great atmosphere. I actually was with Allison from our season. So this was the first time I've done any kind of convention where it's been me and one of my cast members. And now we've all been together some of the conventions and stuff, but with the Brickfest Live, it's a little different. We're there just to be Lego Master people and talk to the public. They literally come through the line and we sign their badges and talk to them. A lot of the other conventions, we're all there, but we're scattered around. We're kind of like we're like just like we used to be. We're just general AFOLs again, and then we'll go do a panel or something like that. But this, it's just a little bit unique, and I've done fortunate enough to do. Last year, I got to work with Patrick, who is just from season 3, one of the grandpappies, and he and I are just great friends. In fact, we talked today. I called him on my drive home, and we talk probably at least once a week.
Yeah, I bet if you told him that you've been on the podcast now, he's going to be jealous.
He's going to have tell you FOMO. What, you guys need to have him on. We
know Grandpappy. We know Grandpappy. We see him at all our conventions.
Yeah, we'd like to have him on, just but for real though. It's funny because he is a good guy too. It's neat that you guys are bonded.
Great. Yeah.
Well, did you come over to listen to the panels at all there at Atlanta?
No,
didn't get a chance to. No,
invited him the first one, and he pretty much he took over and talked the whole time.
That does not surprise me. Love him,
but he has great stories. So I mean, he does.
I like listening to him. You have to just be prepared that you're going to get the full story, and that's the best part about him. He's got a lot to share. So
why he's known as Grandpappy, because he can tell stories all the time.
Yeah,
and he could build. I'm trying to get him to do a trailer park with us, part of our collab. So I'm not sure what angle he's going to take, but
that would be so fun. You guys, you just don't know how much I enjoyed that trailer park. I mean, I grew up in a trailer house the first 10 years of my life. And I've, growing up in Kansas, the tornadoes and the trailer parks was a real deal. So, but you guys just captured all of the wonderful little funny stories and the funniness about living in a trailer park and stuff. So that was a real highlight. I did.
Oh,
I
thank
really,
you.
really enjoyed that.
Well, Tim,
Yeah.
you're talking to a couple of the HOA members of Shady Bricks.
I was
so
going to say, I'm
if
pretty
you want
sure.
a plot to pull in a trailer,
Put your
Oh,
we can
trailer in
we
there.
we can talk to the rest of the HOA and get a plot reserved for you if
Yeah.
you'd like.
I might have to do that.
Yeah, you don't have to stop doing Western. You can just turn it. You can just incorporate it into the trailer park now.
There you go.
There you go. Oh, we
Do like a
appreciate that feedback.
Conestoga wagon trailer.
I think that'd
there
be
you go.
awesome. I'd
There
love
we
that
go.
idea.
Well, now you got me thinking. So we might. Because where will I see you guys next?
Ooh.
Well, yeah. So
It's a good one.
you know, we'll definitely be. We're going to be at the Greenville event that Nick is putting on.
Okay.
And you know, I don't think any of the three of us are going into any other national events that are in the Southeast right now. Like there's one coming up in Charlotte. That's also
we
Nick's.
might be going to Raleigh.
I'll be attending Charlotte, but not displaying in Charlotte.
So you'll probably see us at a couple different places, hopefully. So we'll come fan and find you. But we're, you know, I don't know that we have anything. We have our show in Columbia, which we've never talked to you about, but that's coming up in March, at the end of March, and that's our own show, and we that's a real success in that area, and so we love doing that. And then after that, we have a couple other smaller ones, one in Anderson and one in Walterboro, and then we get right into the second half of the year. It flies by.
Mm-hmm.
And then we, you know, so
yeah,
anything on that one, Kip? Were there any other events?
Well, just today we were asked by Mark Laura, who does a lot of Brick Universe conventions, if SC Bricks would like to be involved at the Raleigh show.
For Nick?
No, this is Brick Universe. Yeah.
Okay.
So
let's talk to him. Hey, listen,
yeah.
we don't like turning down shows.
That's in June.
Yeah.
So that's in June.
Yeah.
Any opportunity to display is a good opportunity. So
yeah.
I mean, you get. That's why I with the Brickfest Live thing, I get a little frustrated with all the negativity, you know. But and there's the reasons why, and I'm not going to jump into that game. But we displayed in Houston for 3 years, and the club's actually been there the last 2 years. I haven't been able to, and just had a ball and never had any issues whatsoever. So, and for me, it was just like I said, any opportunity to display anywhere. And especially when you don't have to, if it's right there in your town, you can just drive a little ways to do it, because so many of these conventions, you got to have a hotel and you got to fly or drive a long time and all that stuff. So to have something local and a chance to interact with the public is just, you know, in my eyes.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Your eyes.
I just say in my eye, you just, you know, it's a no brainer. You go do it. If you can't, if you're home and can.
If the Greenville show you're attending, we're definitely getting together during that event. So, because all of us will be there, so there'll be some after hours.
It'll be home turf advantage. Garage. We'll be able to take it to the after hour spots.
Oh, I love it. I'm excited, really excited now, because so many times that these things, I just go and do my thing and then go back to the hotel and hang out and rest or whatever. So that sounds like a great time. I'm excited.
Yeah, we would do something special for sure.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. Well, yeah, we get around. You'll see SC Bricks members all over the place, but as a cohesive unit, you know, there's certain shows we hit, but we try and hit whatever we can.
Well, now have you guys done any of the Brick Fair shows?
We have actually back in 2021.
Yeah, that was one of the first ones we did.
You guys, okay?
Yeah,
2021. The Jersey show was the first one I helped with, and I hadn't been to any before that, and it was a kind of a fluky thing that happened. So
the Brick Fairs are huge. I mean, I like to go to the Brick Fair Virginia one. We have members going to Brick Fair Chicago. It's just a commitment.
That's Brick World. But yeah.
Oh, that's Brick World. But
yeah.
But Brick Fair Virginia, that's the one that Kip said in 2021. That was an eye opener for us. I mean, that was a game changer. We went there. We had a huge display ourselves, and we were taken back. Like, holy cow, this hobby's
it's gotten
huge.
so much bigger since then.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a 150,000 square foot facility that we set up for you guys to come and enjoy yourselves.
Yeah.
Love it.
I'll be honest though, Atlanta's catching up to Brick World
Yeah, I'm
Chicago
so
and Brick Fair
excited. Yeah,
Virginia.
I think I can't remember what the square footage was because yeah, we worked our butts off setting that one up because with the others I helped set them up too, but it doesn't seem like we worked. But and he even added a day too, so we ended up
Yeah.
working an extra day to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's definitely going to be one of the top three. I mean, or if it isn't already, and truthfully, size wise,
It,
it is definitely uh,
I know
the
this year was right around 70,000 square feet in
yeah.
Atlanta, and
Yeah.
which was almost double from what it was last year. So, and he's planning on expanding more from what I hear too. So, it's just getting bigger and bigger and better.
And next year we get to be right when you walk in. Our logo will be right. SC Bricks will be right up front.
It's
Nice.
funny.
Nice.
Eric
Yeah.
and I were walking around yesterday in Costco, and
Yeah.
we're like, there's those electric scooters for $400. We might need those eventually for to get across the size of the Atlanta Convention Center.
I want one so bad just to help set up, but I don't. I can wheel along and take the banners and stuff and set
Yeah,
up.
you know,
But I usually end up getting to set that stuff up. So
you could always justify the expense of an electric scooter. I'm just saying.
I'm thinking yes, and I'm getting closer to needing one more every day.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Well, Tim, I want to ask. We keep touching on the conventions. I've got two questions for you. In the Midwest, where you are in Oklahoma, what sort of conventions are there? I know a lot of the big Lego conventions are all East Coast based. I know there's a few West Coast, and I think Brick Slopes is one out in the Midwest as well. But what sort of conventions do you have going on out there?
So technically, I'm new. I mean, we just moved up here to Bartlesville a year ago, so I'm kind of learning. But you're right. There's Brick Convention has been to Tulsa before, but it hasn't been back for a while. Now they do try to come to Oklahoma City every year. I know Grayson really likes the OK Lug, and I'm not sure there's a date set for it, but it looks like there's probably possibly going to be something there for them. But really, just in the immediate area, things. Brickfest Live was in Tulsa last year, and Tulsa's kind of, I guess, kind of a weird town. They they love when the one comes, but if it comes the next year, I've heard, and it's the same thing, they get bored very fast, and so I don't know the the attendance isn't as great sometimes. So I don't know if it's just a matter of timing or what. I'm there is the Ultimate Brick Show, Tim Woods show. I'm actually gonna get to do all of them this year. Dayton, Ohio's the one kicking it off, and I can't remember. I think it's in April, and I'm gonna get to try. And most of his shows, there's Dayton, and then Marion, Illinois, which literally I'm going to be going and spending an entire week in Chantilly setting up Brick Fair. Come home, and I think I'm home for a day, maybe two, and then going to Marion, Illinois for the Ultimate Brick Show. And then I think then I got one of Nick's shows, and then I'm going back to Brick Slopes in Utah. I just fell in love with that show last year. I got to go for the first time, and it is a fantastic show.
I've heard
Now,
a lot about Brick Slopes, and I want to get out there at some point.
Yeah, I've
well,
heard good
and
things.
here's something to kind of think about. So this year they are doing it. They're having one in Denver in April. So Cody and Brian, they've gotten they work really closely with the Denver Lug and the Denver because that's the kind of cool thing. Like you guys, so many of the areas and cities are wanting to do their own convention. And I heard this weekend actually that Arkansas and Oklahoma are kind of talking about doing a joint convention somehow. So I think things, as the conventions get more popular and all that, I think more, are going to start popping up, and the lugs are starting to work together. It's just a matter of money, getting the venue, I think, is the big thing. The venue, and then having the
That's
support
always the largest
to
expense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to set them up because
that's my biggest luck for me, because in Columbia I have the owner of the company I work for has multiple event venues, and he donates one to us to
Oh
do our
wow,
show.
that's awesome.
So it's a 10,000 square foot venue that would normally be $4,500 is free. We don't even
That
have to pay a cleaning fee.
wow.
Well, we clean it. We do our
But
best
we
to clean
clean
it.
it
You know?
up.
Yeah, we clean it. Yeah,
We are.
it's interesting because these shows, as they gain popularity and as Lego grows, we at SC Bricks we've always had a show every year. They've just been little, and then we've always had this desire to do our own show. We've done a couple of them. Kip just referenced Columbia. This will be our third year.
Fourth.
Fourth year doing that. Thank you. And it's every year it gets bigger, and every year we get better at it. We've done Greenville a couple times, but now Nick's coming in November, and I heard you say you're going to be at. So that to us now we're talking about like we just want to jump on that wagon, in Greenville and really ride it because he does a great job. He did a
Yes,
great
he
job
They
in
does.
do.
Atlanta,
They do.
you know,
They do.
and that's
And
part
all
of it. Like you said, it's the venue, but then it's the mechanics behind it. And once you get that
And
machine
the
going,
community it builds once you get that show in place
yeah,
in that city, it builds that Lego community, which is honestly why I worked to start the Columbia show, was to start to find people like Eric. We met
Work
Eric.
on
I met
me.
Eric through the Columbia BrickCon show. He
Yep.
showed up and we had a nice first chat, and then the next thing you know, he's part of the lug, and now we have our podcast.
And here we are.
So the community that comes from all of these conventions, like you're saying from the beginning, it's the best thing that you can get out of this, I think. It's just the family feel that comes from all
yeah.
of the AFOLs that you're around. So
Well, it's like you guys. I met you 2 weeks, and I think I have met you all maybe different times and stuff.
I met
You
you a
know,
couple times
Yeah.
over the years, and
and
I this year we were intentional. We saw you, we were like, "There's Tim, let's
well,
go
and
talk."
I'm very
you know.
thankful that you did because
To
I
make you
do.
feel better, Tim, this is the first time you've met me. So.
Okay. I do feel a little better because I feel so bad about if I do forget because faces I remember pretty well. Names I am so bad about,
same
and
way.
I just the last year I don't even I have never sat down and to figure out how many shows I was at last year. This year, right now, I think before I got started, I had 21 on the
Wow.
books, and that's
That
just
sounds fun.
I may fill in some more. I've got a couple of BAM events, maybe. In fact, I might be back in Atlanta. A friend of a friend is opening a store there in Atlanta, and they came to the convention, and he wants me to come down there. I
A
think that's in
secondhand
March.
Lego store.
Another bricks and minifigs store up
Oh.
there.
You should definitely. We should.
Yeah.
You should introduce them to us. We have people all over the place. We support bricks and
100%.
minifigs like crazy.
Well, I will definitely let you know.
I'm actually
then.
wearing one of their shirts right now. Bricks is my sport.
Well, I'm hoping one comes to Tulsa. I was talking to the owner of the one in Oklahoma City just earlier today, and he was telling me that sounds like there's a couple of people really seriously toying with the idea of putting one in Tulsa. I've been surprised because I mean they are opening up everywhere.
Yeah.
Houston's literally ringed. I think there's 7 of them, just literally ringing around this Houston. I mean they've literally their market. What do they call it? Their territory. They're butt up right against each other, and it's just like a big pie.
Big ring.
Yeah.
So-
Everywhere but Columbia, right, Kip?
Right? Everywhere
Hmm.
but Columbia. We've
Everywhere
been begging
but
for one for
Columbia.
everywhere. We've got one in Charleston. We've got one in Greenville. We've got one in Fort Mill coming soon. 2 in Charlotte. All of them an hour and a half from Columbia.
Not in Columbia.
Nothing.
You got to
in
find somebody
Columbia.
in Columbia with deep pockets. That's all it takes. It's
That's
deep
true.
pockets, though, one of them.
That's true. I love
I
it.
toyed
Well,
with the idea back in when there was just the 2 stores, and they were just kind of getting started with the franchise. And I was like, man, that would be great to have one down here because I think at that time there was just the 2 Lego stores in Houston. Now there's 4 retail stores and 6 or 7 bricks and minifigs. And then we had a friend that had his own independent store, but he recently went back to work and is doing just doing it online. So
It's a hustle. It's a
Yeah.
straight up hustle. I mean, it's equivalent to me of like, almost like pawn shopping in a way.
Yeah.
Because really, and it depends on the people that come into your store, and it's a risky endeavor. I think the more and more people get in it, and I think over time it'll fizzle out. But they're doing really well. I think that that they continue to open stores, but I see the local ones. I mean, they depend on AFOLs, that's for sure. Like we have
Yeah.
relationships with them, and they benefit from our relationship. So it's a unique approach. It's not just like a kid's store. It's like Bricks and Minifigs is an AFOL.
Yep.
AFOL business as well.
Hangout.
So
It's an
AFOL
hangout.
hangout. Yep.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's it. They're really, most of them are working. They try to have the clubs meet there, and
Yep.
I
We've
mean
had
they're
meetings
really
there as well.
changing up. From just having their standard prices with the bulk brick and all. I mean, they're having a lot of specials and make it more affordable, because I ain't gonna lie. I mean, the way they were set up, the figs and the bulk brick were very expensive compared to other stuff. And so
Our Bricks and Minifigs is, you could go there and spend $25 at their bulk and walk out feeling very happy. You could,
so
yeah.
They're, I've noticed, well, the guy today, they're doing these whole bucket things. You pay $25 for a bucket and fill it. So it's definitely, the value is starting to get to be there.
That
and
bucket is what we have too. Same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't want to say this, but I'm going to. I want to say that Rebecca and Kyle at the Greenville Bricks and Minifigs were the cause of that bucket for the national Bricks and Minifigs
Oh,
bucket.
really? That makes sense.
Yeah.
Good
I
them.
really do, because we've had that bucket for years. It's been a couple years, almost since the beginning.
I do recall them telling us that they may have gotten in a hair bit of trouble initially.
Yes.
And then it took off.
And then it took off. Because they were doing it, you could refill like all
For
the
$25.
time. It was all the time, unlimited. And then I think it was a year-long process, but then Bricks and Minifigs wanted to do it like, okay, this is like a quarterly thing. You can't do this throughout the entire year, but just a quarterly type thing where you could run a special like once a quarter for your bulk bins. But then it was just, all right, come fill them up.
Well, and I'm gathering from what I've been hearing, they are just getting so much bulk brick.
Yes.
That I think they have to, or you
got to do something with it.
I mean, it's insane the amount of brick I'm hearing. They're,
and
50-gallon drums back there in the back room full of.
And they're not like going through it and pulling the good stuff. They're just letting it all go out into the tables. And we saw an almost complete Death Star in there at one point.
They'll be digging out.
How many buckets does this fit into?
You can find some gems, man. I was with Rusty when he and I found the majority of the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. I'm still a little disappointed that he beat me to that. He and I were picking next to each other, and he pulled it out and went, "Dibs," and I went, "Dang it!"
Every time we go to Bricks and Minifigs, Kip, we find two of the same thing. It's just ironic. We either find one in a box and one not, or something. So we end up having like dual purchases there.
Well, Tim, we're getting to know you, but I want this goes both ways. Any questions you have for us, man?
I definitely do. That's my thing. I want to get to know you guys. I mean, so what? You may all know your stories, but how did you guys get into Lego? I mean,
John, we'll let you start because you started the club, and then we'll go chronologically how we all kind of joined into this crazy community we're in.
Yeah, I don't mind. So, Tim, my Lego journey, I think, started in 1978 when I lived in Germany. My father was in the military, and we were stationed in Germany, and I got the Yellow Castle. And so I have pictures of my dad and my brother and I building that with some local, I think there's a cousin or someone was visiting. But that was it. Like, I actually still have it. You can't see it, but it's in one of these shelves over here. But I was always into Lego. I love building. I wasn't like the Lego. I was into building. I loved like Lincoln Log, and I loved anything that. And growing up, I thought I would be an architect. I was sure. I was like, I'm going to grow up and be an architect,
Mike
And
Brady.
yeah, and so I collected space, classic space. So that's also a big genre for me. So and town, and so like I know you can remember like you get the box and the lid folds open and you have all the predefined trays. So like sorting was something that was ingrained in me from a child, from very little, you know what I mean? It's something I was trained to do. But um, then I grew up, I went through life. One year I was in high school and I didn't have money to buy Christmas presents. This tells you a little bit about me. So I wanted to buy Christmas presents. So I sold all of my Lego.
Oh
And
no.
so literally everything, like my space Lego, my castle Lego, it had been sitting there for kind of years. After basically playing for years with Lego, I just kind of got out of it, like you do when you're into sports and stuff. And then, long story short, like I don't know, 5 years later, 6 years later, when the Lego started doing modular buildings, and they came out with the they started doing the green. It was before Green Grocer, and it was before Cafe Corner, but like the Brick Link or the Brick.
Yeah,
I don't know what
Central Market or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
The
yeah. I'm
booth.
looking at it right now. The marketplace,
Yeah,
and
Market.
those came out, and I was hooked. So that was one thing. But then the real thing was my best friend from childhood, who I had grown up Lego with, and had that life with us, and we both grew up together and surfed and did all the stuff that got us out of Lego. Um, we lived in Orlando together, and this was right when Star Wars came out with their first series, so timestamp 2002 maybe, or even earlier.
Star Wars would have been
2000.
99.
Yeah,
Yeah, 99,
early maybe
2000.
1999. God.
99.
And he called me over to his house, and I came over to his apartment where we were living in Orlando, and he had built all four of these sets, like the TIE Fighter, the X-Wing, and he just was like, boom. He was like showing it off. I was like, no way. And at the time, I had a job. He didn't. He was still getting a job. So I went and bought all the Star Wars Lego. I was like, I'm getting all of them. So I bought the whole first round of Star Wars Lego, started building, and then anyway, it just unfolded. Never stopped from there. And my journey to this point, where these fun, like these two awesome guys are involved, was in 2018 when I had moved to Greenville, South Carolina, and I was a quiet AFOL, looking at Brick Shelf, which you remember that. And I moved here and I met another guy at the grand opening of the Lego store right about near my house, and we started talking. And 6 years later, here we are with SC Bricks, fully invested. You can see behind me, I have some Lego,
I gotta say, you
and
do. You
yeah,
do.
and I'm slightly anal about my sorting. You know what I mean? So all of that has played out, and so now I'm just a very happy AFOL who has an awesome community that I get to be a part of all the time and do stuff like this. So that's my story, short version.
Well,
So,
that brings me to, and I'm sorry, I may be jumping because I'm trying to figure out. So I'm assuming my grandparents had a train set, a Lego train set. It was just a basic red, white, and blue, and but it
Yep,
had a little red wheel with the metal pins and
totally. Yep.
blue
Hmm.
rail.
Yeah.
So that would have been the early, I mean, really like 71, 72. I don't know what year that was set. I looked it up one time and I still have the parts. But so my question kind of is because you were talking about 78 and the castle and all that stuff. I'm trying to figure out how my brother, yeah, I've got one of them sitting up there too. That is awesome.
That's the one you're talking about, isn't it? Or is the one
no,
before that?
No, no, no.
it's
I mean, because
before
it's
that
not
one.
even black. It was just had the red, white, and blue brick, and it was.
Oh,
I need to. I looked it up one time. Maybe while we're kind of talking. I'll try and find it again. But I've been trying to figure out how in the world we missed all of that because my brother and I, we like I said, the Lincoln Logs, the
mm-hmm.
blocks, the Rector set, and then we got when Star Wars came out in the action figures in '77. We were all over that stuff. But I just do not remember any of seeing the Lego sets. And then they say they were in the catalogs, the Sears and Pennies. And I mean, grew up in Western Kansas, and so we had nothing. We had a TG&Y and a Kmart over in Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they just never carried any of them, but I don't even remember seeing them in the Christmas catalogs and stuff.
You know what? I think for me, because I was in Germany at the time and they were carried in the BX, that was the only, and it was Germany. So like you'd go
Yeah.
to the BX and you would see Space, and that was it. Like I didn't go to, when I came back to the United States, even, um, I remember that it was hard to find Lego. I think Kmart sold Lego at the time,
Really? Okay.
but yeah,
Well, I
I want
just
to go
been
back and
trying to
find the
figure.
Lego set. So yeah,
Toys
I
R
will tell
Us.
you, I'm
Toys R
fully
Us.
Toys R
vested
Us.
in
Yep.
Lego. So there you go.
It was Toys R Us for me. Yeah, so
Yeah.
when I just recently got out of my dark ages of Lego thanks to COVID. So before that, I had been into town, castle, space, classic space, the whole 9 yards, and got out of it right when I got into the high school age, and I was doing really big strides in music, going for scholarships and all that. So Lego kind of took the back burner. But during my entire high school out of Lego phase, the dark ages, so we all say, I still had the classic city space launch pad. It was built and set up on one of my bookshelves in my room, and it stayed there through all of high school. I left for college. It stayed there. When I came home, it was still there. And then it eventually got packed up because my dad took over my bedroom for his playroom or his hobby room. So all of my Lego went up into the attic and forgotten for a long time up until COVID, and I was helping him clean out his attic during COVID, and I found all my toys, found all the Lego, found a bunch of GI Joe, Transformers, that type of stuff, and sold it all except for the Lego. And all of the money I got from all of my other toys went straight into the Lego hobby. And I dove in head first. Like it was just kind of ridiculous because
I
I
can
was one of
attest to
those
that.
kids.
He's been all in.
Yeah, I went all in. Like I had only been back into Lego for probably about 6 months, and I was up at the Greenville Lego store and ran into John at the Pick a Brick Wall. He, he was like, what you getting to build?" I was like, "Well, I don't really know right now. I'm just trying to build up my parts collection because I'm just kind of getting back into it." He was like, "Well, you need to see my garage, which is what you see behind you right now."
Wow.
So
This is my 8-ball pickup line.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
pickup line.
Yeah.
He goes, and I've got this club that I've helped start in the Greenville area. If you're interested, I was like, sure, well, I'll take a look at it. And within a week, I was on the Discord, starting up and just getting to know everybody. Jumped in, got on our board members group, so became one of the leaders of the SE Bricks crew, and then said, you know what, I need to find some people in Columbia because everybody I know that's in Lego is in Greenville. And for me, it's a 2-hour drive because I'm on the opposite side of Columbia. And I was like, you know what, John? With the help of SC Bricks, I'd like to create a small convention down in Columbia. I've got a place where we can do it. I just need the people to help put it together. And he said, sure, let's do it. So a couple years later, after a couple attempts at our convention, we started out at a 4,400 square foot place, and then we jumped up to a 10,000 square foot space the very next year. And I think we're going to outgrow that pretty soon, honestly.
Yeah, within the next year or two, probably.
But that means we're going to have to start paying for a place. But anyway, back to the story. We're having a convention. It was 2023, I believe it was at this point. Eric, is that when you came around?
Yes, that would have been 2023 when you and I met.
2023.
Yep.
And kind of just sitting there doing my thing at the table where all of the paraphernalia is and everything. John and I are actually sitting there talking, selling our swag, and along comes Eric, and he's like, "Hey, man, this is a really cool thing," and blah blah blah. I was like, "Man, let me tell you something. You are why we're doing this." So, lo and behold, we found Eric. We hit it off. Started doing this almost monthly visit to a Lego store of some sort here in Columbia or outskirts thereof, and
yeah,
Kip
and I have monthly
meetings.
full date days.
I'm on the other side of the state now, Kip, and you guys get to hang out all the time. I'm the one who's jealous.
But we don't have any Lego stores near us, so we
Yeah.
have
True.
to go to you.
True.
But yeah, so it's the community that we found through Lego. That thankfully John and Andrew, the other co-founder of SC Bricks, thankfully they are very outgoing and outspoken every time they're in the Lego store, because it seems like we're finding new AFOLs all the time that, some people might think it's a little too nerdy to show that side of you, but you know what? I'm a nerd. I love showing off what I do with Lego. I think it's my artistic medium. I
Absolutely.
I enjoy it. I like to nerd out. I like to learn from everybody that I reach out to in the Lego community. It's just an amazing group. So,
Well, in your
and
city that you had, I love that too. I mean, right along with the trailer park, that city you guys had put up together, that was awesome too. So
Yeah,
thank you.
I got to give Kip props. His building has not only, well, for me as an AFOL, it's always impressed me, but like it sparked the community to build a lot more, because he's built very prolifically. Like you can see the amount of building he's done in a short period, and it's good stuff. I mean, like there's nothing that Kip builds is um, is just like safe. Everything has something to it that you're like, damn, you know what I mean? Nice technique, which I love.
oh, it was.
Yeah.
I was blown away. That was a great city because I mean, you see a lot of city stuff, but there was a lot of very unique stuff there, and it was. You guys
Oh,
just,
thank you.
like I said, y'all just blew me away and inspired me to get my butt in gear and get some stuff done too. So I applaud you very much for that.
I like to take the credit for the inspiration of the trailers getting built too, because it was 2 weeks after Atlanta 2024. We had done our HOA stuff on a napkin, said, all right, here's our rules. We need a 4-stud easement. We need this. We need that. It's a 32 by 64 base, so on and so forth. And I got home, and that was the first thing I did after unpacking was, all right, I'm putting a trailer together.
You put
And
the
I
wheels
threw
in
it out
motion.
on Discord. I said, all right, guys, this is trailer
Here it
park,
is.
boys. Let's go. Here's
Dude,
mine.
the turnaround on that was so fast because
Yeah.
you and I were like, I didn't go to Atlanta with you guys last year, but you and I were hanging out shortly afterwards. And then it was like the next day you had your trailer up on Discord. I'm like, good
Yeah.
God.
And then Cam was next, and it was off. It was some great work.
Hey, when inspiration hits you, you got to build. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just how it is. And
Yep.
unfortunately, sometimes you do have those little roadblocks, but when you get the stream of inspiration, you just got to build, 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 build.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens to me. And that's, John, why you see so many buildings that have come up in the past 4 years.
I love it. I love it. All right, Eric, what's your origin story?
But before I get into that, I cannot miss an opportunity because every time I hear it come from Kip or countless other guys at SC Bricks, I have to bring it up. It never ceases to amaze me, despite all of the training as our childhood about not following strangers home. The number of grown men John has lured
That sounds
into
so
his
weird.
garage.
That sounds so weird. Yeah, I have to
at least
live that
half
down.
of our-
White man.
A
John, you
black
have a white
one.
man.
I do not have a van. This is not my. I don't
black
have a van.
SUV.
And some
I wish I
candy.
did. By the way, I wish I did have a van. Now that you mention it, I wish I did have a van.
A
Just
van and
lean into it,
polybags,
John.
man.
Just lean into
Yeah.
it.
Oh my God.
Before I got into my story, I had to, and I know I've made that joke countless times, but it never gets old for me. And I knew Tim had not heard it yet, so I had to say it again.
Thanks.
Now I know to beware, right?
Just full disclosure, you come to Greenville, John will invite you to his garage.
Yes. And
I
you will
hope
want
so.
to
I
come.
really want to see what I was going.
You want to be here already, just hearing about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I do.
I didn't say it's a bad thing. It's just, it's amazing.
It's
Well,
amazing. Thank you.
That's the
Too
thing.
funny.
You got to just, the more you talk about it, it's interesting how many people are into Lego. I mean,
Yes.
just the short time I've been here to Bartlesville, it's been amazing who all I met. So
All walks
You
of
just
life.
got to be approachable and willing to talk about your Lego addiction. That's all. You just have to be okay with that.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those things. Just to kind of, I'll dig into my history as well. But I mean, the for lack of better phrasing, the nerds have won. You know, nerd culture is commonplace now. You know,
Yep.
you look at all the comic book movies, sci-fi films. I mean, this is all stuff that everyone's into, and Lego is a part of that. You know, one of the things, Tim, that's important to me personally, and we've talked about this on previous episodes of the podcast, is what Lego can do as a medium. You know, it is an art form, it is a toy, it is educational, it means so many different things to so many different people.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
as you see within the Lego community, there are people that only collect it. They only treat it as a toy. There are people that exclusively do mosaic artworks. There are people that exclusively build city. There's people that never buy set and only do sculptures. You know, there's so many different avenues, and now people are more comfortable exploring those types of mediums, and it's very, very exciting for the future of our hobby, but also for us as AFOLs and people that just like to talk to like-minded individuals within that. You know, it's awesome. So rewinding for me is, as a kid, similarly, I mean, I was into Lego as a child, my entire childhood, you know, up until, you know, late middle school time. Built a lot of castle, built a lot of classic space stuff. One of the most fun stories I have from being a kid that the other guys here know is I used to build with my dad, and my dad had his Lego from childhood that he kept in a
Oh,
duffel bag,
wow. Wow.
and I would build with his Lego, and then he would buy me new stuff, and I'd build with that. And one of my earliest Lego memories is of me and my dad using his Lego, and we built in the hall in the hall bathroom in the bathtub. We built a submarine underwater with a balloon in it so that we could inflate the balloon and it would reach the surface and go back down. So we spent forever in there. Mom was not amused, you know, that we were occupying the bathtub for the better part of, God knows, 6-7 hours. I don't know how
Right.
long we were in there, but that's probably my earliest story. And you know, I collected, like John, I'm a big classic space guy. That was a big part of my childhood, is early 90s space. And then in the late 90s, it was the adventurers stuff. I was a huge Indiana
Yeah.
Jones kid. Yeah. So I'm currently on a mission to recollect all of the desert line, and I'm only 2 sets away from completing
Wow.
that. So, um, and then shortly thereafter, after Star Wars came out, I was a big Star Wars kid, so I enjoyed that for a little while. And then that is kind of where my Lego started, my Dark Ages started to begin, is in around probably 2002, 2003. Then I didn't pick it back up until about 2019. 2019, I used to be a store manager for GameStop.
Oh,
And
yeah.
GameStop at the time started selling the CMF series, and so I'm carrying these collectible minifigures in the bags in my store, and I started looking at them, and I realized that one of the CMFs was the Jungle Explorer, that was basically the modern day version of Johnny Thunder, and I went, well, I want that, man. I love Johnny Thunder as a kid. So I sat there, and not knowing this was a thing, I literally felt through all of the bags in my store to find the one that I wanted. And then once I got that one, that just reopened the can of worms. So from a
Yep.
simple minifigure, it recaptured the imagination I had as a child and just made me want to start collecting. So I collected all of that series. And then I started buying a set here or there and just building that set and displaying that set. And then I started modifying the set, you know, and then is when we talk often. I like to think there's an evolution of the Lego hobby. You know, you start by collecting, then you start by modifying what you've collected, and then you start by building your own stuff. You know, it kind of grows in that way often, and I'm no exception to that. So 2019 started getting into the CMFs, and then when the pandemic hit in 2020, I had a lot of time, and that's when I really got into the bulk of my collecting and building and displaying, and then learning what I liked and didn't like about things and modifying my own style as a builder. And it was really 2021 that I took off on doing a lot of my own stuff. And it wasn't until 2023 that I met Kip and John and joined SC Bricks. I was very much alone for those few years, and I knew there were shows around, but I didn't really look into them. Where they were, how prevalent they were. Learned about Bricklink probably at the end of 2021. That was a new thing for me, and that opened up my mind when it came to buying parts and whatnot.
Your mind and your pocketbook.
And my pocketbook, yeah, yes. Absolutely. But it was fascinating because I never really knew about any sort of group. I am not a social media guy. I don't social media. I have Instagram that I have one post on from Atlanta that my wife had to help me post because I was like, babe, I don't know what I'm doing with this. What do I do? So I don't look into things like that. So it was, I don't even remember how I learned about SC Bricks. It was from Travis's display he had in the Lego store.
Yeah.
And then I went to the website and I saw the dates from Columbia BrickCon and went there, met up with you guys, and the rest is history. I will say, when I walked into Columbia BrickCon, though, it was very much a vibe check because I'm very much my own guy, and I walked in and I was like, all right, this is a whole Lego group thing, but we got to vibe this thing out and see if this is really what it's supposed to be. And instantly, that was my first exposure to the Lego community and how welcoming and open it is, and how you immediately become brothers,
right,
and family with the people around you because of that shared hobby. And that's just continued on. Kip and John, that we became fast friends, and then when I met Cole later, that came. We became fast friends as well, and it just, the story continues. So that's kind of my Lego background in a nutshell.
That's awesome, guys. Thank you. I mean,
yeah.
Now you know. Now everybody knows.
Now everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
The more you know.
Yeah. The more you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Right.
Yeah, Joe.
Oh man. So we have to kind of like begin to wrap this up, unfortunately, because we can't have this podcast go on for too long. But we definitely didn't get to spend enough time with you, Tim, no matter what. Like if we got another hour out of you, which we're not, we would be so lucky. But any other questions for him, guys? Because if not, I got one. Go for it. Anybody else?
I know I do. Go for yours real quick, John. Because it might be the same even.
Well, my question is about Lego Masters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if Kip and I said we want to be on Lego Masters, right? And I know that like season 5 hasn't even come out, and who knows what's going to happen with the future of Lego Masters. You had to try it twice. You had to go through multiple things. What would someone like Kip or I have to do to make it on Lego Masters? Like just generally.
Well, so we're kind of figuring out that they like to where it's almost you're interchangeable, like you're twins, whether you're siblings or just friends, because I've kind of learned that a big reason Tim and I made it was Tim H and Tim H. And then there was the overall thing, which was totally my fault. My very first Zoom call, season 1, the casting kid, and he was a kid that had got us all going and everything. Our first conversation was about my Wild West and Texas and all that. And he was talking about cowboy boots and cowboy hats and all that stuff. And I said, whoa. I said, I've never worn hats much in my life.
Cole,
that used to be my phone ringtone.
Clutch, Cole, clutch.
And I said, and the boots, all the standing and stuff. But I said, I've got my overalls. I love my overalls. I'll wear them. And he said, oh, that sounds great. So I think Tim had a denim shirt or something because he had never worn it. I mean, he's a city kid. Yeah. And so then somewhere along the line in season 3, they decided the overalls was going to be our look. And Tim went out and got some, and kind of the rest is history. So that thing, we are fortunate that part of it. But to answer your question, we have, in talking with the other cast members and stuff, they do. It's kind of like have a gimmick, something fun, and the clothing makes some kind of weird connection, and clothing wise, and and having that rapport that you guys obviously have, that helps a lot. So, and I tell everybody, give it a shot because it is a lot of work. I mean, it almost becomes a part-time job, just the whole casting process, because there's so much you got it. They're needing videos and you do, a lot of calls and different things like that. But, um, the rewards of it, because the people that you get to become family with on the show, and then the production people. I miss them all. I mean, our sound guy, the producer we had that we worked with all the time and did all our interviews and stuff. And there was one girl in the uh, wardrobe. We call her a ninja because after she got us all dressed and got us set straightened every morning, the rest of the day, her job was to make sure, because the straps was always binding up the t-shirts and stuff, and she would pop out of nowhere and start adjusting our t-shirts and all that stuff. And for about the first week after I got home, I kept looking around for where was Elena.
Where's my clothing ninja?
And I still, when I'm at the conventions and stuff and I'm wearing my overalls, I still expect to be sitting there on the stage or whatever and have her pop up and fix my shirt.
The next time I see you, I'm going to come up behind you and fix your strap.
I think, yeah.
Elena? No, just John.
All right, so we have to have a gimmick and we have to have a good outfit. And then I'm assuming we have to do some decent building so we can get going. And we can't have a normal job, which is a big problem for us.
That's the big rub. I mean, that's the thing. If it wasn't such a time commitment, I think, well, I know certainly I wouldn't have been on there. But so, I mean, the quality of the builders and stuff in the community, don't get me wrong. I mean, I was honored. Lewis is just fabulous. Sam, fabulous. Paul, and I didn't know Paul had so much. And then Kelly, though, my God, that girl, she has had stuff in the Lego headquarters for years.
Yeah.
And now, right after the show was stuff over there for the Lego house and all that stuff. So, I mean, I was just to be on the same show with some of these people was just, a great honor, and just really, I think it helped me up my game a little bit too. So, that, it definitely plays a part in it. I mean, it's a whole cohesive thing, but I really do think the biggest, because I was thinking about this and start maybe trying to share some of this on the panel, because we get a lot of questions about how do I get on Lego Masters? And I think that's the big thing. There's got to be, they do seem to like, if you don't have a sibling or whatever, and even then they try to figure out matching outfits to some degree. And it's a big thing here in the U.S. Now, I think on Australia, they could care less. I think they all dress however they dress. But here in the States, we got to have a gimmick kind of thing. And luckily for us, the overall thing, I love them. I mean, I'm excited living in Oklahoma again because I can wear them again normally, because in Houston, it was just so hot. I wore tank tops and cargo shorts 365 days of the year. So, and that's how I got the nickname Tank was, I talked to one of the kids that took care of us, and I told him the first day, I said, in the club, we're known as Big Tim, Little Tim. And I said, I don't think Tim likes the whole Little Tim thing very much. And I said, so I'm trying to come up with some kind of nickname. I said, you can call me Tiny Tim. I said, I loved the Tiny Tim back in the Johnny Carson. And I said, I would be fine with that. And so he said, you know what, let me think about it. And so got back to the studio the next day, and he said, what do you think about Tank? He said, you wear your tank tops, because I did. And even when it was 20 degrees a couple of mornings, I had my tank top on. And I said, you know what, I love that. And so that's what I became. And even the sound, Tank, sound check. But then it was like, Little Tim, sound check, Little Tim, sound check.
No.
I tried. And
I don't know. I was called Little John for a long time because there was a guy bigger than me. They called him Big John. I was Little John. I was
God,
Little John.
Was he? You're tall. I mean,
wow.
Yeah.
So, Tim, I was Little Kip for the longest time until I outgrew my father, because my dad's name is Kip as well.
Okay.
So there was Big Kip and Little Kip, and then I outgrew my father in high school, and it became Young and Old Kip. So for a while, Little Kip was always the thing, and it does rub you a little bit, especially when you're trying to, have a, I guess
Grow up.
was
You're
a
trying to be
grow
a
up,
big boy.
trying to be in high school and not be
Trying to be a
Little
big
Kip,
boy.
trying to be a
Right,
big
right.
boy, trying to be a man. So yeah. And then when it did get flipped to Young and Old, my dad was like, "Yeah, I'm not that old," but
Then he wasn't real happy.
Young Kip and Old Kip. He's like, nah.
wait a
That's not
minute,
how this
no.
works. Yeah.
But then he was like, "I don't want to be Little Kip either."
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I am not quite as tall as John. I am 6'5", and I am still little Eric in my family because my dad is Eric.
Goodness.
So in my family, I'm still referred to as little Eric, but I'm 7 inches taller than my dad. So
There's some irony there. I love it.
I remember quick little fun family story. I remember one of our final family portraits when I was probably a freshman in high school, from being a kid, freshman in high school. One of our final family portraits we took together. My dad stood on a box because he wanted to be taller than me for one more picture.
This is it. This is it, son.
Was,
I will never do this again, but I want to be taller than you.
He was like, nope, we get one more photo where I'm taller than you.
True.
I love it. Well, Tim, I've got one final question real quick. You mentioned a lot about the time commitment. How long did it take to actually film a Lego Master Season? How long were you
when you start
for?
They asked for a commitment of 7 to 8 weeks. Now, having not made it all the way, I don't know exactly how long everybody was there. I could kind of guesstimate. I know Tim and I want to say we were there almost 4 weeks at how far we made it. But you start out, I mean, they bring you in a week, at least I think it was on season 3, we got there a week ahead of time, but COVID was still they had a lot of COVID protocols and stuff. And for season 4, we came in on a Tuesday. So it was a couple days later so we didn't have a full week before filming started. And so that adds to it. And then I think roughly we were there like almost 3.5, 4 weeks. So, but
long enough to feel like you're with family.
What's that?
Long enough to feel like you're with family.
Well, now that's the crazy. I mean, we all got there on Tuesday, and by Wednesday, Thursday, it was like we were all we all hung out together the whole time. We're having a great time. I think the first night, literally, they had a community room there in the hotel for us to kind of most of us were down there that night. First night there, just having a ball. We had a big barbecue the first weekend. That's why it was as hard as it was to be told we weren't on season 3. After I got over one of the worst days of my life, the following day, when we were sitting there at season 4, and I was watching everybody and all that, I'm like, you know what? I am so grateful the way it worked out, because I said, this group is who I really am happy. I mean, I love my season 3 people too, but it was crazy how that worked out and how well we got together. And still, I mean, we don't all, I mean, everybody's getting so busy now. Nobody really, all the seasons seem to start a WhatsApp chat, keep up with everybody. And for the longest time, I mean, all day long, every day, somebody, we're on there, and now it's kind of few and far between. But, it definitely, when we see each other, it's really a great time. And we do try to communicate a little bit here and there. So that part, was just crazy how fast. And I think season 3, they gelled really well too. I mean, it was a really quick, because by that first week, we had a barbecue that first week too before we went home. Them too. So.
What I'm hearing is in Greenville, we're going to have a barbecue with Tim.
Yeah, I was already hearing that, by the way. I have a big backyard, too.
John's got a great backyard for a nice cookout, so
yeah we'll do that.
Well, if we can get the stuff, I've got the best deviled eggs in the world, and that's not just me.
I love
Oh.
deviled eggs.
I've got a special way of making them, and I even got a video, my Food Network video that I did when COVID was going on, that I show. It's actually on my Instagram channel, kind of buried way down.
We will go
Tim,
look at that.
I've got a
I'm
special
very
deviled
proud of that.
eggs.
I'm hoping it'll get me on Food Network one of these days.
I've got a special
Nice.
deviled eggs recipe myself, so I'm
Ooh,
interested.
compare.
We're gonna have to compare.
Gonna have a deviled egg off and
Oh, that'll be fun. Oh, that better be the last day though, because
Right? Because they might hurt you a little later.
Saturday night late.
make us
Deviled
leave.
egg off.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I was known as the deviled egg person whenever everybody was still in the offices before COVID, and we had, the Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner type stuffs in the office. I didn't have to even write my name down. It was just assumed I was bringing deviled eggs. So, yeah.
I'm sure they were
A meal's
delicious.
just not a meal without deviled eggs. I'm sorry, but
Yes.
I call mine
the
deviled
ultimate
omelets.
Oh my gosh, I already like them.
I love it. I love it. Well, Tim, I feel like there's been a lot of talk about fast friends and family and really melding into a community. You mentioned it earlier, and speaking, I think I can speak for all of us. I feel the same way. You have really become family to us in the Brick Lounge and SC Bricks as a whole. So
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I mean, just talking to you guys that night, Saturday night at that little mixer thing upstairs.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, wow, these are my people.
These are my peeps.
Yeah. I'm
I love
lucky
it.
you, maybe. Oh my God. Tim
That's
again.
awesome.
No, we're always
Well, I
happy to
love
see
it.
you, Tim.
Yeah.
That's it.
No,
Just
absolutely.
know you ever need anything or whatever, and I can do it. You guys, you are family now. So
Thank you.
Oh,
Same
yeah.
to you.
Same
Same.
to you.
AFL family.
That's right. Well, is there anything else before we wrap up the show, John, Kip? Anything you guys have for Tim, or Tim? Anything you have for us?
oh gosh,
I
could talk to you
actually
guys
have
forever.
one last question for you. You said you're busy with conventions. When's the next time you're anywhere near, the South Carolina area? Maybe we could just pop in and see
Let's see. So I got a 2-week break. I'm going to Novi, Michigan for my last Brickfest Live. I only had a couple of them, and then the very next weekend is Nick's show in Charlotte, and then
Okay.
let
Eric,
me.
the
you'll
next
see him
one.
then. I
That's
might
the
be
next
able to
one.
make it to that one as well. So
Yeah. So
Well, please
that'll
do.
be it.
Yeah, I'll see you, Tim. We'll have to do lunch or something.
Absolutely, because once we get things set up, I fly in on Wednesday, and we usually set up on Thursday, and then Friday's kind of last minute things, and and everybody else is setting their stuff up and stuff, but we're kind of free and stuff. So I
Yeah.
would definitely.
Well, we'll coordinate off mic. I've got your number, you've got mine. We'll touch base and we'll coordinate and do something in Charlotte.
Sounds good, and I'm trying to think. The dates and stuff. I know pretty much where all I'm going to be, but it's
do you
gonna
do
be
anything with Brick Universe?
well.
Or is that a sore subject that I shouldn't
No,
bring
no,
up?
no, it's not. I started doing stuff with them when they first started back in 2015, and I was fortunate enough. I went to Dallas. One of their first shows was in Dallas, and I went up to Dallas, and then they came back to Dallas. So I've known Grayson, and I've known his family and stuff too. But I've really always kind of dealt with Grayson and stuff, and so when he started Brick Convention, I ended up doing shows with him, and right now I'm supposed to do about 5 of them with him that are close to me driving wise, and I don't know if this goes how far out this goes, but if you do one, you don't do the other. So.
Right. So I get you. I just know that
I would
Raleigh is
like
coming to Brick Universe is coming to Raleigh, and I think we've been asked to be there, so we might have a small contingent there too.
Well, I mean, it's hard because a lot of like Leah, Chan, Paul Hetherington,
Right.
and some of the vendors and stuff are real. Leah and some of the vendors are real good friends and stuff, and so it's hard. Like, and I got to meet Paul and see his stuff one time. 2018, they were in Tulsa, and so I miss not being there. And a lot of the AFOL clubs and stuff that I work, see at other places and stuff are there too, but it's just kind of a sticky
Yeah.
thing. So
We have a couple friends who are tied to contracts and can't do some because of others too. So I completely get it.
now that may all change at some point. Like I said, this convention thing has become just as much of my life as it of anything. So I'm gonna, as long as I can, and whatever. I mean, yeah, even after the Lego Master thing wears off, as long if I can afford it, I'm gonna try and do as many as I can and that kind of thing. So
I think it's all a secret goal of all of ours to be able to just do Lego conventions and go and tour and be in the community all the time and have that be our lifelong job.
I won't lie to you. That's where I'm at this year, and I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
And I have met so many people, and then and what's kind of crazy, and I know I'm taking up time,
You're fine.
is how, but I'll make it short. How there's the AFOL convention building community, and then there's the YouTubers and the streamers and stuff. We're all the same people, but somehow it seems to be kind of a subset or a family of its own. So I mean, within the Lego community family, you have all these other little families and stuff,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
even though everybody,
It's like first and second cousins. It's like
Yeah,
first and second
exactly,
cousins.
so because I do, my YouTube channel, I haven't done anything for a long time, but I consider myself a content creator, and I am gonna this year. I promised myself I want to get back into that and do some stuff. I really want to do a thing where I like what we're doing right now with all the Wild West builders that are now coming up and stuff, because I really want to get to know all them and share things and ideas and stuff. So that's kind of one of my pet projects I want to kind of get going on too. But I just love this. I mean, doing these podcasts and stuff, because I really do just want to get to know as many people as I can. So,
well, Tim, you are welcome to do this anytime you want.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So
anytime you want. So.
I look forward to that.
Be careful what you put out there, because we'll like randomly be like, hey, we have a Monday night meeting with no recording plan. Let's just call Tim.
Let's call Tim.
Mondays are a little tough. Sometimes Mondays are a little tough, but at least reach out, because if I'm available, I definitely want to talk. So
Awesome.
Love it.
Tim becomes the rotating fourth chair.
Yeah.
Hey.
I love it.
That's kind of how I am on several of on the stream. So,
well, Tim, thank you.
Rotation.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you so much for your time. And before we wrap, where can the listeners follow you at? What's going on? Where can they find Tim Hutchings?
So everything's all at Tim's Brick Adventures. I've got the Instagram, Facebook, the YouTube channel are all Tim's Brick Adventures. I do have a TikTok, but I haven't really. I've got one video on there where I I put on my son's Teletubby outfit and danced around with that, because some of the girl influencers, there was a thing, Teletubby, what is it, YouTube? Oh gosh, they actually have a hashtag and a little post thing. Anyway,
you got sucked in.
I had literally Jean, what's she call herself? She's actually part of the Real Media and all that. And I saw her video of her doing it. And I was in our bathroom, and my son's Teletubby outfit was laying there on the floor.
Oh my God.
I mean, we were still unpacking, and I don't know how it got there, but it was there. And I'm like,
it was
oh my
meant
God,
to be.
This has to happen. So I pulled the thing up as far as I could, put the little hand things on and the head thing on, and I got a little backlash over that from some of my other fans.
So your TikTok subscribership just went way up because everyone's going to be looking for that.
It's been on there forever.
Well, hopefully our listener in Croatia will be jumping all over that.
Yeah, remember when I said I don't really have social media? Well, I just signed up for TikTok for one
Just
very
for
specific
that
reason.
video.
Well, and it's on my Instagram too, because that's where I originally posted.
Oh, well.
Love it.
It's all over. I'm not proud. I mean, I thought I had fun doing it. I had a good time. So.
As long as
Oh,
it
I
brings
love
joy
it.
to
Yeah.
somebody's face, that's all that matters.
Right. Absolutely.
I hope so.
So Tim's Brick Adventures on everything, pretty much.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Perfect.
I got you to do that branding. You got to keep it all.
Yeah.
Consistent. Yes.
Like
yeah.
and subscribe, please.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
thank you for listening. If you liked what you heard with Tim and Tim Brick's Adventures on this episode, you can follow us on all of the major podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at Brick Lounge Pod or YouTube at Brick Lounge Pod. All podcasts go live on YouTube as well as for video and audio. So give us a listen, like, subscribe, do all that YouTube and social media mess. Tim, again, thank you so much for joining us,
you guys.
sir. And
it's an honor.
it's an honor for us. And ironically, it just hit me, the way we wrap up our show, Tim should be very, very familiar with his experience.
We got work out everything.
No,
Well, not quite that.
Almost. I read that one. Does it have to do with the bison? Yes.
Maybe.
No. Way off.
So think back to what they told you at Lego Masters when the time ran out.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's
Ready?
how we end all of our episodes.
So
right.
Tim, I'm gonna cue you then. So ladies and gentlemen, until next time.
You gotta. What does he say?
Bricks down.
Bricks down.
Bricks down.
Bricks down.
Bricks down.